Hello and welcome everybody. Thank you for watching. My name is Brandy Wolf. I am the owner and founder of Golden Alchemy Meditation, and I am a certified meditation teacher through the David G Academy. And if you've watched my channel, you know that I like to interview other wonderful people that are in our community that also meditate, but then also have something that they offer to just share with everybody. So today, I am with the most beautiful Andee Blythe with Let Love Rise. And she is going to be sharing a little bit with us today. So I'm actually going to, let's see, there we go. Now we're both on the screen.
Oh, yay.
So now we're both on the screen, so you can see both of us. And yeah, so
Hi, good morning. Thank you so much for just carving out some time to chat. I could talk all day long about the good spiritual tools that I have found, along the way. So I'm just excited to have this conversation with you and grateful. So
well,
thank you.
I'm so glad you accepted my invitation to
Yes.
join us today. So
Yes.
So you do a lot of things, and I think that for those that do know you and know of Let Love Rise, one of the things that comes up first when I think of you is,
Mhm.
oh, Amy, oh, the moon. That's
Ah,
like one of the
yes.
first things that I think about
Yeah.
when I think about you. So tell us a little bit, just like tell us what you do with Let Love Rise.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah. So Let Love Rise has four pillars. And the first pillar and probably one that I'm known for right now is the moon. It's the moon, music, mindset, and the Magi, an ancient card system. And the moon for me has just been such in my own transformative healing journey that really began for me in 2019 when my 20-year marriage was dissolving. I like a lot of people do when their world crumbles around them, is you look like, well, what can I grasp onto? What is going to help me pull myself out of this? And I think that's when I just engaged a love for the moon and her constant changing, always moving forward. And the moon rules over our emotional bodies and our feminine nature. And so I just really connected with her. And I call her because it is depicted by and large
Mhm.
as a feminine energy. But for me, it's just been such, you don't always see the moon. Some like on a new moon, we're coming into a new moon right now. It'll be on Monday, which happens to be a solar eclipse as well. But when we don't see the moon, we still know that the moon is there, and that just gives me such reassurance and this constant changing when I'm like having a great day, and then the next minute I'm like weeping and in the fetal position. It's just like, okay, we could take cues from the nature, and so I just started connecting with the moon and the energies of the moon and the universe, and really starting to take a deep dive into astrology and how the planets are talking and how they're talking to me personally. So that's a big part of what I offer. I lead moon circles. I do guided visualizations on the new moon, and then I have a class called Spirit Flow that I lead on full moons. And sometimes I take it off. Like we're in an eclipse season right now, and so the month of April, I'm not offering moon circles because I just know the healing process that I'm going through. And if we don't take care of ourselves first, which I know we're going to be talking about today, which
Yes.
is a huge role of meditation. Then we don't have the capacity to serve others. So I often, as I plan events, I look, where is the moon? Who's the moon speaking to? And how are the planets in communication? And then how does it affect me? So yeah, the moon is just, yeah, she's my girl. She's
I
my
love
girl.
it. I
Yeah.
love it. I love it. I love the moon. I love everything to do with the moon.
Mhm.
I actually had set up a crystal grid on a new moon, from new moon to new moon, from November to December. And I am considering doing another crystal grid for the next new moon. So
Oh,
just
that's
feeling it.
lovely.
I haven't decided yet or not. Like sometimes I'm like, yeah, let's do this. And other times I'm
Yes.
like, it's the right one. So let's wait.
Yeah, and that's the other thing about the moon is like like she wants you to listen to your body and listen to your
Yeah,
energy and it's totally okay to to say like nope,
yeah,
not today. Today
not
is a
today.
blanket and a cup of tea day or
That's
like
right.
yeah. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. So, you know, well, let's see, you're wearing a necklace. Does
I
that happen
am.
to be
It does
Ma
happen to be a
Burma's
mama. Yeah.
necklace?
Yeah.
Shout out to Miss Burma
Yes, Karma.
with
Girl.
all of our malas.
Yes. Yes.
So,
Jasper wants to say,
obviously you meditate, Jasper.
hi.
Obviously you meditate.
Yes.
So, how often do you meditate?
I would say I would say I meditate every day in one way,
Mhm.
shape, or form. So there, back in my 20s, um, I took a course in transcendental meditation where I used to
Mhm.
meditate for 20 minutes twice a day. It was very
Yeah.
structured. And it really helped me at the time. And then I became a mama and I was
Yeah.
like getting up, I had three littles at one point. I think they were all under 5 at one point and, or close to. And I stopped doing transcendental meditation, which is a meditation practice that involves just one mantra that you repeat over for
Mhm.
20 minutes twice a day. But that really started me on my meditation journey. But then as I became a mom, I had to, it's constantly changing, right? Again, back to the moon,
Right.
constantly changing. And so a lot of times my meditations were more like walking meditations or mantras in my car. Like, and I love that you do the car meditations. I mean, it's just like, it's such a smart way for busy people to just all remember, well, we all have the same 24 hours. So how do we use
Yeah.
our time? But it's evolved and nowadays my meditation usually comes in the middle of the day when I'm in a transition between either work and kids coming home from school on the weeks that I have my kids or work into or just like to reinvigorate myself and just step away like if I find myself at an impasse or the creative flow isn't coming and I just step away from my computer. I like to step outside if I can. And my meditations are pretty short, about 10 minutes where I just close my eyes. And I remember once upon a time I had a really phenomenal acupuncturist and he said to me, and this was during my pregnancy. He said, if you can just set aside 20 minutes, set a timer. If you fall, like if you're meditating and you fall
Yeah.
asleep, allow your body to fall asleep. It needed the rest. And so
Yep.
that has stuck with me so that, sometimes in my mind, I'm like, I'm just going to go sit for 10 minutes. If I really have things that I have to do, I will set a timer in case I do drift
Yeah.
off asleep because I am, that does happen from time to time. But I try to do that at least once a day, generally in a transition middle of the day for me. But the other thing that I do is visualization. So, and that's slightly different from meditation. And I like to start my day with a 5-minute visualization, just kind of focus. And it could be just on like, thinking about the day ahead and what you have going or where you are energetically, what you're feeling, and then do an intentional visualization for just a few minutes about how you would like it to flow and go.
Mhm.
Just to center myself before being off to the races.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love everything you said. And what I really like about that is that um there's not really, I mean, some people will say there's a wrong way and a right way to meditate, but
Yeah.
that's not the school of thought that I come from. There is not a wrong or right way to meditate as long as you're taking that time to access your stillness and silence.
Mm,
As long as you're giving yourself that permission to just be present, like just to be with you as
mm,
your own,
mm.
from visualization to mantras, first thing in the day, middle of the day, in between transitions. And that's another
Yes,
thing that I really
yes.
like because parking lot meditations are really great for transitioning. They're
Hmm.
really great for lunchtime. They're really great for, okay, I just had a really busy day. I am sitting in the parking lot waiting to pick up my kids from one of the many activities they have, and I have 5 minutes. Do I scroll on my phone or do
Right.
I take a few minutes to get present and
Yes.
pull my energy back in. And I
Yeah.
think that that is something that people are really missing in their life is taking time for themselves. We are in a um like a lot of people say a time of extremes, a time of this or that, and information
Constant
overload.
influx of imagery,
Yes,
sound
yes,
all the time, all the
all the
time.
time, all the
Mhm,
time. And, disconnecting from scrolling, disconnecting, like, it doesn't matter where you are. If you're in your car, great. Take
mhm,
5 minutes, take 8 minutes, whatever you have, just take it. And it's that transition. Also, when like coming home, like
mhm.
that transition is so good. And it doesn't matter if you live by yourself or
Yeah,
if you live with a group of others, taking the time to be present before you transition from
yes,
your day of work to come into
yeah.
your personal space. Like I love all of those little points that you hit, just transitioning and
It's right.
different ways of
It's huge
meditating.
because and that's how we'll show up better for ourselves. I used to teach and had a 20-minute commute home. And as a high
Mhm.
school teacher, like all day long, there's thoughts, there's teaching, there's interaction and all of that. And before I came home, I found myself, and I'm a huge lover of musics and podcasts and all of that, but I would gift myself 20 minutes of silence just to
Yeah.
drive home. And there was something about that movement too, to like, okay, I'm transitioning and breathing and letting things flow out. It's so like, so that I subscribe to the idea that there's not a wrong way to meditate unless we
Yeah.
just don't do it. Unless we're just
Yes.
not checking in with ourselves like at all. And to be fair, like there are times I'm guilty of that where I will get in this fast-paced mode. I mean, you and I have been working on a project before where I just come in all frantic and you're like, okay, let's just take 1 minute, one
Yeah.
minute and take some deep breaths in and out. And that's honestly all it takes, just to be
Yes.
like, whoa, I didn't even realize the speed at which I was
Mhm.
going. And we feel so much that like if we need to be on this pace and this trajectory in order to accomplish things. And right now, like the energy of the universe is like literally like, no, we're in a Mercury
Right.
retrograde, and the ruler of the eclipse that's happening on Mondays, which is Mars, is in the sign of Pisces, which is like a chill out. Let's go with the flow. And it's not,
Yeah.
Mars wants to go, 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 go. And it's like, that's just not what it is. And if we pull back and slow down, we
Right.
allow time for the creative energies to come through, the clarity to come through, rather than just adding the franticness. I mean,
Yes.
even
I
cooking
know.
could
You
just
can make
be
it meditative.
you absolutely can.
Yeah.
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 Just being present. Just being present is such a gift. So,
Yes.
tell us, like, you kind of touched on this just a little bit, and I know meditation has just been a part of everything that you have done, but how was Let Love Rise birthed?
Wow. It was it was the opposite energy. I was gonna say, because it's going to celebrate its 3-year anniversary next week, which I
Well,
can't
that's exciting.
believe. Yeah, it's April. And so it was birthed out of I've been a journaler my entire life. I just
Mhm.
I process through writing, and
Mhm.
it's been such a valuable tool. But I kept getting, and probably in meditations, right, like that's where clarity
Mhm.
comes through. I just kept getting this pulse to share your story, share your story, share your
Yes.
story. And then one day the words "let love rise" came out, and I wrote it down in my journal. And it probably wasn't until like a year later, because sometimes I review back, and be like,
Yeah.
where was I, where am I, to kind of cheerlead myself, like, oh my gosh, I got through that, like, and you're still here.
Right.
And so I saw Let Love Rise again. I was like, oh, maybe I'll just start a blog. And it happened to be in April of 2021, the school that I worked on at had an April spring break. And I just, harnessed that Aries spirit. It was not a retrograde at the time. It was a very fiery time. And I was just like, I'm just going to write this blog and I'm just going to put this thing out. And so the intention of it in the beginning was just to share my journey, because there was a part of me, I think, that was also wondering, is anybody else out there feeling what I feel. Can somebody relate to this story? Is there somebody that maybe has advice for me, or can my story help somebody? Because I've always, since the inception with my original blog post called Looking for Space, where I was trying to figure out who I was again. And the title comes from John Denver's beautiful song called Looking for Space, and to find out who I am, because I lost sight
Mhm.
of myself completely in my marriage over time. Like
Yeah.
I didn't realize it until, my husband had left, my kids were, 50-50 custody, and
Mhm.
I was like left with myself, and I was like, who am I? Like, what what just happened? And so just trying to find the nuggets of what is this teaching me? How is this going to propel me forward? Looking for Space was all about choosing my name for myself.
Mhm.
And then over time, as I began writing, I started noticing some patterns, and like that's where the moon came up, and I was like,
Yeah.
I want to share this with other people. I am a teacher at heart, always have been. My karma card with the Magi is the 10 of clubs, and the 10 of clubs is the teacher's card. And so just giving my energy into that and teaching in whatever it is that I'm learning. So it led to leading moon circles. And then I had to do a lot of my own mindset work, because I was in the darkest place. I mean, emphatically 2019 to 2022, just like the darkest years of my life. And I had to figure out how to pull myself out of that. I mean, I could have, we all have choices, and there was
You
something
do.
in me that was just like, there's more, there's more, there's more.
Yeah.
Mindset training. And then the card system that I refer to, the Magi, has been with me all along through the whole journey, and I'm completing my certification in it. But what's cool about Let Love Rise is that what I started has evolved, right? Like in a way that I never imagined. I didn't think I would ever quit my teaching career in public education, but I did. I took that leap of faith last June, and I said goodbye to the classroom and said hello to this whole new entrepreneurial work that I'm doing now. And it's just beautiful, but more than anything, it's constantly needing to remind myself to come back into myself. One, because I had lost that. I don't know. Yeah, I had lost that completely. But also when I'm on a journey that is so unknown, and it could be so scary. And it's when we
Yeah.
come back to ourselves again and again and again every day, and we forgive ourselves every day, and we let go every day. And that's the other part about the moon is it's constantly expanding and growing an idea, and then removing, we're in the removal phases. We're going in this waning balsamic moon right
Yeah.
now, like getting ready. It's like, what do you need to let go of? And it's every month we have that option, every single day. I mean, I've said so many times, I just wish it could be like, I have forgiven. I am done. I let that go. I am done.
Right.
I'm free. And
I
it's
think it's I let that go and I didn't reintroduce it back into my life because it's so comfortable. It's the only thing I know how to do. Like,
yeah. Yeah.
that's what
Yeah.
it is for me. Anyways,
Yeah.
it's like, why I thought
Yeah.
I let that go. Why is it back? Oh, because it feels so
Oh,
comfortable.
yeah. Oh, there's
You know?
more. There's more. I know. And there's so many times, and I'll look at the energies and like this Chiron solar eclipse that we're having. I'm just like, wait, this is the end, right? Like this is closing, like the chapter is going to be closed and we can move
Yeah.
forward. It's like, no, there's going to be in 6 months, like another eclipse, and it's like, okay, all right. And then just discovering the joy is in the journey. It really
It
is.
is.
Like as much as I wanted that fast forward button,
Mm-hmm.
particularly in 2021, which was, yeah, I just wanted to fast forward through,
Yeah.
but that's where the beauty is. It's in the dark spaces and in the cocoon.
Yeah.
And how do you learn to love yourself and care for yourself and show up for yourself and return to yourself, and then connect to that
Mm-hmm.
higher part of yourself? And that's, unfortunately, sometimes it takes the really, really hard stuff. I now ask for gentler lessons, but um, yeah, that wasn't the first lesson was rather intense. Let's
Oh,
just say,
yeah.
and it
I've
wasn't even
I've
the
been a
first
sucker
lesson.
for punishment, so I
Yeah,
have gone through similar things
yeah,
over and over
yeah,
and over again until I was like, wait a minute. I don't
Okay.
want this. Why does it keep happening?
Right. And that's what it takes
Yeah,
sometimes. It takes it to
it
be like,
does.
okay, I see a pattern. And that's now what Let Love Rise
Mhm.
is helping people. I say the tagline is helping you free yourself from stories that no longer serve. Because we all have the ability to free ourselves, but
We do.
sometimes it's harder to recognize it, right? It's like that whole parable about like examining, instead of pointing out the speck in somebody else's eye, like examining the
Yeah,
log of your own. And
one of my
it's often harder to see our own stories until they're really, really hard. And you're like, okay,
yeah,
I've had enough of this. What am I doing? And how can I change this? And that's ultimately like my life's work now. Let Love Rise is my full-time job. And it is all about helping people break the cycles, free
yeah.
themselves from the stories that go on replay, the limiting beliefs, the fears that hold them back from really
Mhm,
pursuing what I call their most courageously authentic life, the life that is like wanting to burst forth inside of us that you know,
mhm.
sometimes we just play it small. We
Yeah,
hide, and I
it
understand the
doesn't do,
psychological reasons
yeah,
between all of that, but right, you were just, yeah, it
yeah,
doesn't
it
do
doesn't
it.
do anybody any favors to hide your shine. Like we
Yep.
need to let our true self shine. And you know what? I struggle
Yeah.
with that too myself, just because I live a dual life
Yes.
of careers. And so I struggle with that because it's like I have two different
Yes.
versions of myself
Mhm.
that I need to be, and we all wear many hats. Like we're like,
Right.
here's my chauffeur hat.
Yeah.
Here's my mom hat. Here's my wife
Yes.
hat. Here's my
Yes.
this hat, whatever it is. We
Yeah.
have all these hats that we wear all the time, but like, my kids, they're grown, they're out of the house. And so it's just me and my husband and my
Yeah.
mom,
Yeah.
but I still have this dual career,
Mm-hmm.
where I walk two different paths and they do
Mm-hmm.
not intermingle. They are oil and vinegar. And
Interesting.
they do not intermingle. So it's something that is it's a challenge to walk along the path because we all need our income.
Yes, yes,
We
we
all
do.
need
I
our
call that
shelter.
riding two surfboards. You've got a foot on this surfboard. This is the income surfboard, and then this surfboard. And for whatever reason, I just jumped entirely off of one
Yeah,
surfboard, and I'm just going for it. But I'm an Aries rising, so that's part of my nature is to jump first and then
yeah.
think
I
later.
have done that a lot because I'm an
Yeah,
Aries too. I don't know if I'm an Aries rising though, but
you're an Aries sun. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So, but I have
Wait,
jumped
when's your
many
birthday? It's
times.
like, is it today?
It
Is
was
it tomorrow?
yesterday.
It was yesterday. Happy birthday.
It was
I'm like,
yesterday.
wait, it's the first week of April. I know that. Oh, happy birthday. Happy solar return.
It's just thank you. It's just,
Yeah.
that whole, it's really true. Aries do jump without looking. I have
Right,
jumped
right.
without looking
And
many
there's
times.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, yes, yeah.
Well, so what's your goal with Let Love Rise?
My goal is really just it's to create community for people, to have a safe space for people to be able to process what they're going through. So I currently have a program, an in-person program that I'm bringing virtual next month, called Spirit of the Phoenix. And the Phoenix is, if you look on Let Love Rise, that's my symbol for it because right, like rising from the ashes, where like I felt
Yeah.
like my life completely dismantled and crumbled in a way. And it was like, okay, now what? What are you going to do about this? Stop asking why this happened, because that was no longer a useful question. And what are you going to do with it? And it's like it just, the phoenix came back again and again and again and again. And so the spirit of the phoenix is just really something that is a passion project of mine, which is bringing people together in community to go through, how do we put ourselves back in the picture? Like week one is called vision, casting a vision for yourself. And then facing fear, getting fear in the back seat is, and that's an ongoing thing.
Mhm.
Like once again, I wish I could say that like I have tackled fear, and people do say, they're like, you're so
Yeah.
courageous, do this. And it's like, Great. I'm glad that that's what you see. And there is fear, but the courage is the other side of fear. Fear exists. I used to say I was fearlessly authentic. It's like, oh no, I'm not fearless. I'm more courageous. I'm going to look at this because I know that there is something more for me. Um, learning how to set our GPS to happiness
Mhm.
and letting the journey be a joyful journey. It's not about the destination. I am a journey girl. So finding that and then surrendering to something greater and not fixating on the outcome or having it be this way or on this timeline. So it's a mindset circle, but it's really everything that I do. I'm finding, even though I have these four pillars, they all overlap: the moon,
Yeah.
music, mindset, and the Magi. So my work right now is just to pay it forward. All
Mhm.
the teachers that have helped me along my way and given me the information that has helped me grow and take the lessons of my life and create something beautiful out of it, which is what the Phoenix is. The Phoenix is
Yeah.
just a beautiful mythical creature, and I want to help people do the same. So that's the ultimate goal. And I do that in person with mindset programs. I do it
Mhm.
online. I'll be doing a lot more online to reach, have a greater reach and
Yeah.
memberships. And but then retreats are something that I do regularly as well. I'll have an international retreat to Teotihuacan outside of Mexico City for the fall equinox that I am
That's gonna be
so
so fun.
excited about. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's that the goal is just to help people live what it means to them to break free from stories so that they can live the life that they
Yeah.
truly desire. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That is just beautiful. I love it. I
Yeah.
love it.
Mhm.
So I have a non-related, well, kind of a non-related question. And that is because we were kind of talking about
Yeah.
astrology a little bit.
Yes.
So, as an Aries, do you
Yeah.
find what other people do you find pop up in your life often? Like what other signs? I'm
Well,
just curious.
like what other sign, like do I surround so there's a couple, like I have a lot of Aries people in my life
Right.
for sure, but then I'm an Aries rising, but I'm a solar or sun and moon Taurus, and so also the earth signs. I have a lot of friends who are Virgos and Capricorns. Those are the three earth
Yeah.
signs. So I do find myself drawn to, like, if I think about like the people who are in my inner circle,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
it's so much fire, between
Yeah.
Aries and Sagittarius, and then Earth um
Yeah.
signs. I haven't really thought about that. So thank you. I was just trying to think like who are some of the people. Yeah.
It's so interesting when you start looking because like I have a tremendous amount of Aries in my life too. Like I feel like Aries like flock together for whatever reason. It's like,
Mm, yeah.
yes, we do
Well,
it together.
and there's something about Aries because they're kind of like a Leo. They're very big and bold and
Yes,
like like here I
yes,
am, whereas maybe a Cancer or somebody is like just going to be more observant and watch. And
right.
whereas the Aries might also be the people that are uniting the people. It's like let's go do this
So
thing. Yeah.
yeah.
Leading the
Yeah, no, it's
charge.
interesting. I get lots of Leos in my
Okay.
life. So I
Yeah.
get lots of fire signs in my life. I get
Another
lots of Leos.
fire.
And then I get they're not often when they come, they're profound Sagittarius.
Oh, yeah.
And then I have
And
others sprinkled
Sagittarius
in
is
there.
another fire sign. It's
It
the third
is.
fire sign. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it is. And I'm like, this is so weird. It's like just the most odd thing to me sometimes that there's just like this pattern that
Yeah.
happens with
Well,
when
and
you start
what's
noticing. Of course, my husband's a Cancer, so he is the
mm,
observer. He is the
yeah.
watcher, and I make him uncomfortable a lot. Let's go do this, and he's like, "Why?"
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and the other
You
thing
know?
that I noticed, like similar to the zodiac signs that we attract to ourselves, or the people that are of those elements. The same is with the cards of destiny, the Magi
Yeah,
cards, is that I like the amount of Ace of Diamonds people that are in my life right now. It's just it's overwhelming because I'll always ask people when I meet them, it's like, oh, what's your birthday? And just want to know
yeah,
their card and how that relates, the Magi is a standard deck of cards, which is really a calendar, right?
Yeah,
It's not for playing poker, although that's fun.
right.
It carries some pretty beautiful and amazing, profound, mystical wisdom that was created centuries and eons and ago. Very ancient
Yeah,
wisdom.
yeah,
But it's
yeah,
interesting how that happens as well. How you're like, oh, really? Another ace of diamonds. Okay. Or another
yeah,
another Aries. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
The people that are meant to come, they're there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even if it's just for a moment. I mean, they're there. They teach us valuable lessons.
Absolutely.
So,
All relationships, right, are those reflective mirrors. And and
yeah,
sometimes, right, they say there's the season, the reason, or the lifetime, but I absolutely subscribe to that. The people that are in our lives do have a reflection to share back at us. And maybe it's just something really short for us to take away and be like,
yeah,
thank you. I learned
yeah.
that. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, speaking about transitioning,
Yes. Mm.
we are about to transition to a close. But before we do,
Mhm.
um, I would love if we could just take a nice, long, slow, deep breath together as
Let's
we
do
do
that.
transition.
Yes.
So let's just breathe in through our nose and hold at the top for a count of 4 and just release. Oh, that felt good. Let's do it again. One more time. Long, slow, deep breath in and then hold at the top. Count to 4 and release. And just gently open your eyes. Thank you so much, Andee.
Thank
Namaste.
you. Namaste.
I'm so glad you could join me today.
Me too. What a beautiful
And
start to this day.
yeah, and for everybody watching, I'm going to put Andee's information. It's going to be in the description of this video so you can connect with her at Let Love Rise if you're interested in anything that she does. I mean, I would encourage you. I have been to her offerings and she does a beautiful job. Um, that you always leave feeling warm and juicy.
Mm,
And that's just something I feel like we take a little bit for granted how we feel in here. We primp our hair, we put our lip gloss on, or we shave, we do whatever. To make sure we look good on the outside, which is important too, but taking care of our hearts, taking care of the inside of who we are is of the utmost importance that we
mm.
unfortunately neglect just a little bit in our world. So
Right. Yeah.
I would encourage you
Yeah.
to connect with Andee and just see what works together. So thank you
Mm.
so much for joining us. And be sure to click the like and subscribe button on YouTube. We're small, but you never know how big we'll get.
That's right. Like the phoenix, keep on rising,
That's
growing and
right. And Andee has a YouTube channel too. So you can follow Let Love Rise and Golden Alchemy Meditations. So you will get notified when we do post new videos and when new content is available. So
happy.
thank you. Namaste to all the beautiful
Namaste.
souls out there.
Namaste.
Let's see.